What is up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond. I'm back with my own review of Married to Medicine. Let's get into it. So we are back with the argument between Greg and King, where King is running to Greg, but he's blocked by Check and the other producers. To me, watching that scene, because I had to watch it multiple times, King could have easily overpowered Check to get to Greg. That was a huge island, a huge beach where there was nobody else around. Perfect space for open opportunity for y'all, excuse me, to really get into it. So the way that King got easily stopped tells me he did not want to go that far. He did not want to fight, but he thought he had to prove himself to check Greg about the disrespect towards Quad, which I am not mad at. And both King and Greg both have respectable businesses. They both have reputations. It would not look good to fight on camera. But for Greg, you know this. But the way you have presented yourself on camera has probably gotten people looking at you sideways anyway. Do I believe that Greg was afraid of him? No. But I probably do think he probably was a bit shaking in his boots to witness another man telling him, "You're not going to disrespect my wife like that, period, point blank. Or my girl like that, excuse me." So everybody is trying to remove King and Greg away from one another. You hear Quad yelling to King, "Baby, calm down, calm down." Letitia finally makes it to see what's going on, to ask questions. She was about to walk up to King when you got Cecil and Eugene telling her, "Don't come over here. We got this. We got this. Go to Greg." Quad is telling her, "Go talk to your husband. Go talk to your husband." And I get it. Sweet Tea is in wife mode. There should be no disrespect towards my husband. I want to know what's going on, but don't run up to a man in that space, because there's no telling what could have went down if you approached him like that. So your first objective should have been towards Greg. Don't come over here, okay? So while trying to calm King down, Eugene is telling him, "We have to calm down, man. We gotta just shake this off. We know they have a past." But King cuts him off by saying, "You know what? Fuck they past." And Eugene agreed. You right, you right. Fuck the past, fuck the past. Leave it, leave it, leave it. Y'all go take a walk. When they start to walk away, Eugene and Damon were walking arm in arm, and they were both talking to each other like, "What's happening? What's going on?" It was just so funny to me. Eugene had me hollering. The comedic relief he gave this episode, I couldn't take it. So King tells Quad that night when he said, "Shut the fuck up," he was talking to you. Quad didn't know. So for me, they didn't hear that Greg was talking to Quad. So it wasn't something they had heard before and was waiting for that moment. It was something they really didn't know. And he felt like, "You can disrespect your wife all day on that, but you're not going to disrespect mine." He will never talk to you like that. And I agree. There should be no disrespect towards any women, period. And for a man to agree that there should be no disrespect towards another woman, I'm here for that, okay? So when we got Cecil and Steve trying to calm Greg down, telling him he got too much at stake, he should not be dealing with this. If you can't handle it, then walk away. But I don't know why he didn't walk away before. So while trying to convince him to calm down, King tells Quad, "He gonna never talk to you like that. I don't care what it is. You can say whatever you want to say to him, but he won't ever come to you like that." You know what, King? I respect that. I ain't got nothing against that, because you're being the man in this moment, letting her know I got your back whenever the disrespect towards you, because ain't nobody gonna come to you. They gotta come to me. When they're afraid to come to me, then they know it's a problem. My man is like that, King, all day, every day. But what I don't want is for it to be used in a way where it has to be that type of moment. Because yes, if any disrespect towards her, they come to you, how often are you going to deal with that? Because you have already said before that there are things that Quad has not let go. There are things she brings up from the past. So I just hope that you're being patient and letting her know, "I hear you, babe. You can express how you feel. And I'm not going to ever tell you not to express how you feel, but don't always engage in situations that gets you out of character like that. Because then I might have to step in. I don't want to always step in on shit like that. I got your back no matter what. But be mindful of the things you say that can set somebody off, because you can't expect to say what you want to say and not have anybody else react to it." That's it. That's all. So while trying to calm Sweet Tea down, you got Mimi, Contessa, and Phaedra trying to calm her down. I don't know what's going on. Mimi is yelling and crying. They're trying to come between your shit. They're trying to come in between you and Greg. Don't let them do that shit like that. This is your covenant. Mimi, why are you crying? I don't know about getting in between. But then again, I don't know what you would have expected when you came on this show where Quad originated from with your new marriage. I don't know what you expected. But at the end of the day, moving on. Um, the way that Contessa covered them like a shield, and then Phaedra's holding her, and I don't know, because I feel like, let's keep it a book. Sweet Tea has not been met with proper welcoming when she came on this show, because she knew she came on this show where Quad and Greg originated from, and a marriage she originated from. So you didn't know how to navigate it. You didn't know how to handle it. So this was a lot for her already. Then we just see Phaedra speaking in tongues. I couldn't handle it. I am Toya. The way that Toya was just standing there and staring at them with her drink in hand. I said, we're not doing this right now. I know folks can feel the Holy Ghost at certain times, but this didn't seem real to me. This seemed fake. This seems overdone, over dramatic. I couldn't take it. Then Eugene and Damon walking arm in arm again, wonder what's going on. Heavenly, Jackie, and Simone are confused about what's happening. Now Simone got an issue with how Phaedra can feel the Holy Ghost to help Sweet Tea, but never thought to ask the Lord to help her with Apollo and Shireen. Simone, I don't know why you're trying to add that, because that has nothing to do with it. No, the problem is Apollo thinking that he has the ability to keep control and keep tabs on Phaedra, who she's dating. That's an issue. That's the fucked up part. Because this pretty much led to having a more of a fucked up relationship, because Phaedra don't need to have a relationship with his wife. That was the mistress. That was the side chick. She ain't got to have a relationship with her. Simone, what the fuck you talking about? Simone, please. You really getting on my nerves now, Simone. I didn't like the way you were just on board with everything else that was against Phaedra over shit you knew was gonna happen. Like, that really pissed me off. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand what Simone was talking about with saying how come Phaedra isn't looking into fixing her fucked up relationship with Apollo and Shireen. There is no fixing. There is no looking forward. There's no nothing. So you can miss with that, Simone. What else? What else? Greg checked on his wife saying, I want to let you know it's all my fault. I put you in a situation I should not have done. Because then they asked him, what happened? He said he told him to apologize to Quad, and I did. I didn't hear you say you did. I heard you say there should be accountability on both sides. I didn't hear you say you were going to apologize to her. That's not what I heard, and that's not what you shown. So Greg and Sweet Tea, they leaving. They going home. They told Simone they going home. And Simone, you didn't do nothing special by getting another boat. It was already going to be multiple boats, because you guys are a reality talk. You guys are on a reality show. You got to have crew and production and security all around y'all everywhere y'all go. So it was not that much of a need to get another boat. So everybody is on the boat. We have different conversations being said. Jackie told King, I don't want y'all to have any issues. I want y'all to be good. And King said he ain't got a problem with him. He don't want to have a problem with him. It's just a disrespect he's not going to tolerate. I respect that. We got Heavenly Contessa. They're checking in on one another. And Heavenly talks about Sweet Tea being too volatile. Her mouth, like, she too volatile. She can't be jumping up on people, yelling at people, and da 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 da. But Heavenly, we've listened to your mouth being so volatile for all these years. And you mean tell me you can't handle when another woman's being just as volatile as you and is ready to back it up while you being a scary ass bitch running away calling security? Make it make sense. We've had to deal with your volatile mouth all these years. And Contessa is like, okay, we can't keep on making it seem as if Sweet Tea is just someone who reacts so wrong. She has a bad temper. We got to give her a bit of grace, because she's feeling isolated, she's feeling alienated, and she's taking hormones trying to get pregnant. So maybe we should give her a pass. Her emotions are all over the place, and I agree with Contessa. Like, we're not gonna throw our humanity out the window and not understand what Sweet Tea is going through, as if we have not treated her in such a way, because y'all have not. Y'all brought her on the show to piss off Quad. Now when Quad comes back, y'all want to treat Sweet Tea like she's the problem. Everything she does is a problem. I don't like that whatsoever. And to me, it really bothered me throughout the episode that a lot of people were just so shocked and surprised about what transpired on the sandbars, that that's never happened before when they would go on trips like this. There's never been an altercation with the other ladies, or there's never been an altercation with the other men. I'm like, oh, y'all new? You guys are used to these back and forth moments. You guys are used of getting each other's faces like this. Wasn't there a season when Aiden and Damon almost got into it? Correct me if I'm wrong. So what y'all not going to do is make it seem as if this is all Sweet Tea's doing. That she's the one bringing the drama. She's the one got the negative energy, as if this is not what y'all wanted anyway. Y'all wanted the drama. Y'all wanted the explosive moments. Miss me. So when Sweet Tea was talking to Phaedra, about asking Shireen the question about who invited her. She said Heavenly. She asked Heavenly why she invited her. Heavenly gets defensive. And then that's when they go back and forth. Sweet Tea said, I'm not going to beat up a senior citizen, and I've never been in a fight in my life. But Sweet Tea, I know that you've been on standby to defend yourself when they come at you wrong, because they have came at you wrong. They have baited you into acting out and act like you're doing the most. Sometimes I want you to give that back on them, because they're the ones that be setting up to make you like the fool, setting up to make you look like the problem. And you keep on falling for it every time, defending yourself, defending your case, where it gets exhausting. Then with the whole Phaedra situation, yes, she invited Che to get to know him, but when it came down to the whole thing with Apollo, it shouldn't have been a problem, because he's married, but she's single, and she could date another man that is single. It is what it is. So when they all made it back to the resort, they were like, how do we fix it? How do we move on from here? So it's the next morning. Contessa wants to tell a white lie to Mimi about how they're not like this. We don't have problems like this. It's never been as bad as this. Contessa, why you lying? Just a couple of months ago, y'all went to the Dude Ranch where you almost got into a fight with Heavenly and you told her to square up. So don't lie. Don't lie. So then Heavenly decides to invite Apollo and Shireen to her suite with Simone to apologize of what transpired the other day. I don't know why you apologizing to them. They're not a part of the show. You should be making your rounds and apologize to Mimi and Steve, because they're the new couples coming into the show. They're the ones with confessionals. They're the ones being integrated. So I don't know why you're giving this moment to Apollo and Shireen. Who are they? They are nobody. And Apollo was still on that wavelength of being lied to by Phaedra, how she never told him she was dating one of his friends, and they never had a conversation about whether or not he knew him. And I really don't give a damn. It's none of your business. Why are you caring? Why do you need acknowledgement that Phaedra is dating someone you are friends with? She don't owe you that respect, and neither do he. You didn't show her any respect when you were cheating on her with Shireen while she was pregnant with your second son. Make it make sense, Apollo. And I don't like that they're all trying to make it seem as if Phaedra was in the wrong for bringing somebody that Apollo was close friends with. And it was a surprise that he was even coming when she knew Apollo was coming with his wife. Fuck you, Heavenly. I don't care how much you try to throw it out there that Phaedra knew, Phaedra knew, Phaedra knew. Listen, Phaedra might have known you were going to set her up for the okie doke, and she had a backup plan to put you in your place and say, you're not going to play with me like this. I know you wanted to set me up to be embarrassed by my ex-husband and his new wife. I know you did. That's why I brought my man here. Because when Heavenly thought that Phaedra would have been alone on this trip with the knowledge that Apollo was coming, she figured it would be some drama. But it didn't work, because Chet came, put all the energy on Phaedra, didn't have any problems with anybody else until Apollo came, and he had an issue with Chet and Phaedra, and it all backfired and made you look stupid. So kissing him to Apollo's ass. He is nobody. For you to say all of this to him, it's like, who the fuck is he? Why are you appeasing to him? This is just a man who's desperate to be back on reality TV, to make his moment, to have his shine, and he can't do it unless he's connected to Phaedra, and it's not going to happen anymore, okay? Like, it's all complete bullshit. And they were like, we came to this trip on some healing and some therapy, but she had a different agenda. No, you had a different agenda. You wanted your moment back on reality TV, and it failed. Heavenly, you can't blame nobody but yourself, because this was your idea. You wanted to invite him because you wanted a moment. You wanted drama. You have very ill intentions of inviting Apollo on this trip. Because it was your idea to invite him, and he's not a part of the cast. Moving on. So Jackie checks in on Phaedra, finds out that she's leaving, is trying to convince her to stay, but she says, I'm leaving, and I'm very disappointed in everybody, especially you, Jackie. Jackie was like, what did I do? As if she didn't know what was going on, but yes, she did know that Apollo was coming, as well as Phaedra knew Apollo was coming, but there was no support for her whatsoever. All of y'all were in defense of Apollo, and y'all was wondering why is Phaedra acting like this, but Phaedra, I don't know what you expect. These women, they go for the men. Okay, and there was nobody to support her or defend her. Do I feel bad about what happened to Phaedra? No. Do I feel bad about the way they wanted something bad to happen to Phaedra? Yes. And Heavenly, why do you care so much about what Phaedra thinks of y'all as a group? I think after all of this, Heavenly really wanted to be friends with Phaedra, but Phaedra saw through Heavenly's bullshit and wasn't going to take it. Because it's like, we're supportive. We are a great group of friends. She says so herself. But y'all act like y'all are a great group of friends. Y'all act like Y'all are supportive, but y'all not supportive. You guys don't show real sisterhood. You guys are mean girls. You guys are judgmental. Saying that she really didn't want to open up to us because we see through her bullshit. No, we see through your bullshit as well because y'all all act the same. Y'all all do. Now, as far as like Jackie trying to convince her to stay because it will make her stronger. Jackie, will you be strong if they was to bring the woman Curtis was cheating on you with? Would you be understanding and calm? Or would you be like, fuck no, get this bitch up out of here, or I'm leaving? So for me, it's like, why do y'all act like it wouldn't be happening to y'all? Why don't y'all ever be in the space of stepping into somebody else's shoes of how it would make you feel if you were in this situation? Like Quad, feeling slighted that y'all brought Greg back on the show and his new wife and didn't give any courtesy and care for her feelings, and vice versa about treating Sweet Tea and Greg like they were obsolete for it to be happening to y'all, but y'all wanted it to be happening to somebody else. Make it make sense. Who would you expect to convince you to stay in this environment when nobody is defending you, nobody is supporting you? You wouldn't like that at all. So when she said, I don't do these types of mean girls, so I'm gonna be leaving. There's a private jet waiting for me. Now, Phaedra, we didn't forget all those times on RHOA when you were very much a mean girl to the ladies, especially Kenya, Demetria McKinney, okay? The shade you threw back and forth with Sheree was warranted, but it all ended with that lie you made up about Candy, Portia, and Todd that I'm never gonna let go of. So while she left on a private jet with Shaq, I ain't mad about her exit. She was already waiting for her time to get back on the show. She really wants to be back on. Now she's leaving. She ain't coming to the reunion. Bye, good riddance. New day. Everybody needs to regroup. The men are separate from the ladies today. They're all going to have their own separate outings. So all the ladies are getting into their Sprinter vans. And Toya was confused as to why Apollo and his wife was invited on the trip. Send their ass back to the ATL, okay? Then there was news discovering that Sweet Tea and Greg left. And when it came down to witnessing the tension between Greg and Quad, they didn't know how toxic their relationship was post-divorce. Yes, y'all did. Y'all did. Okay? But they all know that they need prayer, therapy, and peace, which I agree. So the ladies meet up at a distillery bar. Simone talks about there were so many arguments happening simultaneously, and it's the craziest thing that's ever happened. Seeing Greg and King like that was the most devastating thing that's ever happened. Simone, cut it the fuck out. That was the most devastating thing. Not seeing Mariah and Toya fight in ball gowns the first season. That was the biggest thing that's ever happened. So for you, you're going to have to miss me with this. I have never seen that before. I get it. When men fight, it do be heightened tension. It do be, oh my God, how did we get here? I get it when men are fighting, but don't put it all on. That's the craziest thing that's ever happened on this show. Even though they never fought. Yes, they were in each other's faces, but they never put hands on one another. Mariah and Toya put hands on one another. But moving on from that, we got the men. They go to a cigar lounge to roll cigars, enjoy some drinks. They're still talking about what happened the night before and with witnessing a divorce between two people and how they're in new relationships. I think it was about being introduced too soon and it wasn't supposed to be like this. It wasn't about not being comfortable. It was not about that. I had no issue being around him. The issue I had was disrespect because you don't talk about somebody like that. And if I'm with them, then I don't like that. And I'm checking you, telling you I don't like that. Damon, being the main one talking, agreed that while we're all men, we're all kind, but if you choose to cross those lines towards any one of our kids, any one of our wives, you're gonna get that reaction. So it's funny for me though, Damon, that you agree that there should be no type of disrespect towards any loved ones, that it should be rectified and cleared up, but you didn't even give Greg that respect when Heavenly came at him. And you're telling him he's being sensitive and is not understanding how he should feel like this, because are you still feeling some type of way about assuming that Greg is taking your patience because of his issues with Heavenly? But while I get you, if there's any disrespect towards any one of my people that I love, you're going to get handled. I'm going to check you about that. But Damon, you did not properly handle the way that Greg came at you as a man to get you to understand how the disrespect that Heavenly had towards him that could have destroyed his reputation. You didn't want to understand that. You didn't want to, give him that respect. You would just, so he understands why he decided to stick up for his girl, and understand that in the aspect of him being acclimated to this group, he knows he likes that he knows there's tension, but there's still respect. And so we are back with the ladies, and they're getting confirmation that Phaedra left because from Jackie, she doesn't like being around a bunch of mean girls. Toya says she reached out to her that morning but hasn't gotten a response. But Quad said, oh no, she's on a private jet, She can respond to messages. So Toya was like, is she mad at y'all or is she mad at all of us? Heavenly want to be the one to say she's mad at all of us. That's Phaedra Park, bitch. You don't want to understand it. No, Heavenly, it's not that, okay? I'm pretty sure that Phaedra likes some of y'all, just not all of y'all. And Simone felt like Phaedra thought she was above us. That's how y'all took it. Y'all took the way Phaedra carried herself, felt like she was coming in and stepping on y'all toes, and y'all felt threatened by that. So that was the end of the outing that they had. And everybody's getting ready for another couples dinner. Toya is not in the mood for another couples therapy dinner. She is so sick and tired of everybody talking about everybody else's problems, but they don't want to accept that they have their own problems and their own issues. I am not dealing with this tonight. Can we do something else on our own? Can we ditch them? And Toya had a point. People in this group like to magnify everybody else's issues, hone in on that issue, talk shit about their issues, judge their issues, and we just stick to that. Nobody else really takes accountability of what they have going on, and I'm sick of it. It's nothing. None of the events we've had have been positive. And when Eugene said, listen, how about we just do what Heavenly and Damon do? We just pretend we're perfect. We'll pretend we don't got any issues. And we're just say, oh, we've done the work. We're good. We're good. Just do that. And I appreciate the shade that Eugene threw, because that's exactly how Heavenly and Damon have acted while being on this show. They don't talk about their problems. They don't talk about what they've been through. But they like to hone on everybody else's issues, especially Heavenly. She likes to be mean, be judgmental, and criticize everybody else's situations, but we never can know about hers. So Contessa FaceTime Sweet Tea just to check in. Greg is still upset because he was like, King took off his shirt, was running after me, as if you did not start that energy. And they just want to make sure that Sweet Tea and Greg are still included. They're not iced out of the group. And we need to understand that everybody has a perspective of what transpired. We can't just assume one side of things and not know the other side of things. Everybody has a point. Everybody has a voice. I appreciate Contessa being the middleman in this, where she wasn't following everybody else saying, oh, Sweet Tea and Greg were wrong, or we all know what they did. I'm happy about that. I really am. So we have Greg and Sweet Tea back in Atlanta in their home discussing what happened. He said he was embarrassed and annoyed because he didn't want it to go that way. It was him being upset with Quad saying she is happy she left the marriage. She is over it. She's moved on. She's happy that he moved on, and he reacted. If you've been over Quad, like you say you've been over Quad and are happy in your relationship, that should not have bothered you. Whatever she might have said, whether it was to hurt you or to shade you, you should not have reacted to it. All right? Sweet Tea tells him that that shouldn't bother him and he shouldn't allow it to bother him. And also what had occurred on the sandbar with him and King getting into it. And if it wasn't for a check being there, it would have been a fight to the death. This is not a duel. This is not West Side Story where there's one man left standing. Okay? She said it would not have been a fight to the death had I been there. And he was like, what you mean? What would you have done? She said, I'm combat trained. He made fun of her being combat trained as if she's not in the Air Force. She was in combat training. She fought men and women. She was a medic. So don't try to downplay that she doesn't have the ability to knock a man off their ass if they was to ever get out of line with her. Don't do that. So with him trying to downplay that she would not have been a helpful hand to him, it was like, so if you weren't able to defend yourself when you was waving your hands up for assistance, you gonna knock down somebody else who would have been there to help you? Like, it's kind of crazy with him saying you're a woman. What does her being a woman got anything to do with her saying I would have been there to be there for you? What does her being a woman have anything to do with her saying I'm combat trained? I'm able to defend myself in case need be. You could have at least said, babe, what would you have done? You would have been there for me. You would have jumped in. That's so sweet, babe. But I don't want you to get into it with another man. I got it. I can defend myself. I appreciate you being there for me, babe. I appreciate you having my back. You could have said that. But you really try to make her sound dumb and stupid for her saying she would have been there. She would have been there to help you. And it doesn't matter if she would have been there to help you. Like a woman has no strength of her own. That has nothing to do with her being a woman. Like that statement that Heavenly made about a man being weak, if he's soft, if he's gay, which is false because it is a proven fact that straight men bitch up when there's another man testing that strength and calling them out on their bluff because they don't have that same energy towards a man like they have towards another woman. We've seen that on countless of other shows. Love and Marriage Huntsville. The Scotsmen never have the same energy towards another man than they have towards other women. They have allowed for the disrespect towards their women versus giving it to the man who disrespected them. We got Love and Hip Hop Miami. Ray J thinks he can punk Marcus by saying he has no balls, he's not a man because he won't check his wife, as if that is something to have honor for. He's less of a man because he doesn't check his wife. But the way you treated your wife is any better? Yeah, that's some cap and bullshit right there. So women who take simple self-defense classes that learn how to defend themselves, if there are other men that are bigger and stronger, thinking they can overpower women, and these women can operate in that sing mentality, solar plexus, instep, nose, and groin. Okay, shout out to Miss Congeniality. So this energy he's giving me was he felt emasculated, and he's given Napoleon complex. All right, he's from the Munchkin land, giving follow the yellow brick road energy, the Lollipop Guild. Shout out to Erica De Niro. And telling her, you could be so naive at times. And it's like, what? What are you talking about? And she defended it by saying, I don't think it would have been that bad. And now he was like, how do you know? Do you know him? How do you know? She's like, I don't know him, but I was there. It wouldn't have been all that. And Greg, you were not in the street by yourself with King. You were on a beach. There were other men around. There were production around, security around. No fight would have happened at all between you and King, okay? So telling you that it wouldn't have been as bad as you think it would, now you're mad that she's telling you it wouldn't have been that way. You're embarrassed you got chin checked by King with telling you you're not going to disrespect my girl. That's not going to happen since I'm around. Like, what's up? Because you couldn't give that energy to a man. You now giving it to Sweet Tea, a woman who's been there for you, a woman who's had your back, been defending you all this time. Make it make sense, Greg. Really make it make sense. Why are you being so disrespectful? Why are you trying to little girl her? Considering that you are the older gentleman in this situation, telling her she's naive, she don't get it, she doesn't understand, it doesn't make any sense. What's up with this? What's up? This is the kicker part when men marry women that are younger than them because they believe they can use them to mold them, to manipulate them, to teach them because they don't know right from wrong. They don't know any better. When you got the older gentlemen who don't know any better at all. Like, it's so horrible. And she's just looking at it from she's looking at it from both perspectives. Like, she's not defending you, but she's also looking at how I understand how he can feel a way and how things could have escalated, but things didn't escalate. So now he wants to walk away and telling her she's naive. You think you can run them to a grown-ass man and think nothing's going to happen? You naive. You so dumb. Well, he didn't say that, but that's how he sounded. It sounded like he wanted to say she's so dumb for thinking that she can walk up to another man and not have anything bad happen to her. But you didn't have to make her feel bad about it, though. You did not have to make her feel like she was stupid for trying to tell you that I understand you guys are going back and forth, but I'm entitled to my opinion. I am entitled to my opinion to tell you I'm seeing it from a different perspective. I'm not seeing where one person is wrong and everybody else is right. I'm not seeing it from that. I'm seeing it from a whole different lens. So when he walks away, she closed the door. They're still mic'd. And she was telling him to calm down. He said, don't say shit that's going to get me to go off. And he's literally scolding her like a child, being very demeaning, very disrespectful. And she's telling him to stop talking. Like, she is very much aware of how this conversation is going to be presented out into the social media. And she was like, I was trying to look out for the team. No, you should look out for the leader of the team. And it's like, don't do that. The entire time, Sweet Tea is calm. She's trying to be understanding. She's telling him, I know it's a sensitive time right now. And he's still coming at her. I'm telling her, don't say stupid shit if you're not going to like what I'm going to say. And she's like, stop saying that. Stop talking. And he was like, who you think you talking to? The same statement he said to King. It's like, who are you putting fear in? Greg, who are you? I don't like that. Sweet Tea, this is not nice. This is not cool. This is cringy. This is uncomfortable. Looks like he is verbally abusing you in this moment. The way he is just getting loud and disrespectful, talking to you all type of demeaning and disrespectful and degrading, is disgusting. He's supposed to be the psychiatrist. He's supposed to be coming from a calm, respectful tone, and it's not him, it's Sweet Tea. Because I think that Greg looks like he was just punked out by another man, and he don't think his wife is being there for him. He don't think his wife is supporting him, and he is just in his own mind being emasculated, being intimidated, being less than, feeling less than, and just taking it out on her. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. It is not Sweet Tea's fault that you put yourself in this situation. You were the one who was yelling at Sweet Tea the night before. You be good. You be good. You walking away from her when she's trying to have a conversation. And now you're telling Quad she got a big fucking mouth. Greg is the problem. Greg has not changed since the divorce from Quad. I don't know if he thought that getting involved with another woman, a younger one, would have been an easier transaction. It's not. The same problems are still there. And Sweet Tea and Greg have only been married for over a year now. And also, Sweet Tea, you need to hold yourself accountable with the way you enter this relationship. You did slide in his DMs to promise him you're going to give him babies. And you never thought that he would treat you the same way he treated Quad. But you're seeing it all now very early than Quad did. And you have better ways of leaving than staying. And I hope you're not trying to go into overdrive and prove to other people you can be happy in this relationship when we can already tell you're not going to be happy in this relationship. I don't ever like to advocate for a relationship to end, but baby, I don't see this marriage lasting longer than the next couple of years. And I pray, I'm sorry to put this on you, Sweet Tea, I pray you do not have a child by him. I'm sorry. I pray you don't. Because I hope in the next couple of years, since he gave you a deadline of how long he'll wait to want to have kids by you, use this opportunity to get your ducks in a row. So when you leave, you don't have nothing else tying you to him. You can leave with what you came with, and you ain't got nothing else to deal with him about. I'm sorry, Sweet Tea, to say that, but that's how I feel. And I ain't got nothing to say to that. And I'm going to move on. Because that was just very cringy, uncomfortable, and just downright disrespectful and downright heartbreaking. So the other couples have arrived to the bonfire so they can have another couple exercise. And Dr. Mimi is adding an emotional support bowl full of lemons. And she decided to bring the bowl that Steve paid $5,000 for, that Quad made in the glass factory. And the instructions for this emotional support exercise is everybody takes the bowl. They are to be listened without interruption. So Mimi was asked the first question, how do you feel about exes being a part of the group? She says, how I feel about exes being a part of the group if there's been an understanding that the exes in particular have done their own individual work in regarding how the relationship have ended. Have you forgiven yourself? Have you owned your part in the relationship? Have there been proper measures taking place for you to understand what has transpired in the relationship? And in her mind, in her perception of what's going on, she do believe that Quad and Greg have not done their own individual work when it came down to their divorce. I can see the camera panning to Quad as she's listening, and I don't know if that's just how she was looking. I don't know if that was from a different moment, but the way it came off as if she's not receiving that nobody is understanding her feelings in this and is still placing her in the same conversation as Greg of being a part of the problem, that they both have not taken the actual measures into healing and moving on from their divorce, moving on from their marriage. Do I believe that Quad has done some work to remove herself from what happened with her and Greg in their marriage? Yes. Do I believe she's completely healed? No. I don't think that Greg has done the work. I don't. Jackie and Heavenly do not agree that if they ever was to bring an ex or the woman that Curtis was cheating on Jackie with on a trip, they wouldn't like it. It's a no-go. How is it that y'all can say it's a no-go for y'all, but y'all assume that Quad would have been okay with it? Make it make sense. Toya has the bowl, and Toya was the most honest one out of it. She said, it's been a lot that's been done in this group. Sweet Tea was wrong, Greg was wrong, but we wrong. We are conveniently saying we're not mean girls, but we should look in the mirror and say we do some fucked up shit. I applaud Toya for being the only one honest enough to say we don't have nobody else to blame for what transpired in this group because we've done it ourselves. And then they did a flashback of every single person a part of this cast who have said horrific things about somebody's profession, somebody's financial problems, somebody's marriage. It has been happening and done over and over and over again in this group. And Toya said, throughout the course of us being in this group, we have done and said the most fucked up shit about one another. And we can't expect for people to come in and just take it. We can't expect people to come in and get this type of hazing that we had to work through. And we have become the mean girls ourselves to put somebody else in that type of hazing environment. We can't keep doing that. Heavenly wants to apologize for not considering Quad's feelings, which is a shocker because Heavenly never considers Quad's feelings. And it would not have been fair if the same was done to her, the way that they brought Sweet Tea around. But they all knew it was a strategy for her to bring Quad on for the strategy of involving Sweet Tea. But it still wasn't cool the way they still did those things to hurt Quad in the moment, but also in return hurt Sweet Tea in the moment as well. Like all of that is still some backhanded shit. So King and Quad had the bowl, and King was like, there's no exits here for me, but I do agree it is complicated. I do agree that both parties have not done the work, and they do need to do the work to heal from the relationship. And King has said this before about how there are times where Quad still reacts to those triggers of what has transpired in the relationship. But they're all human. They all have feelings, but feelings and respect needs to be considered, and I agree. Eugene takes this bowl and then decides to talk about the relationship he has with Greg. It's not as close as it is with Cecil and Greg, but he does want Greg's feelings to be acknowledged. He wants him to know that this situation does not make us not want to still bring Greg around. It still wants us to be cool with him because they did carry a lasting friendship with Greg as they did with Quad. He understands that they're not together, and it just would feel sucky. We had to isolate him from the group. Quad did jump in when it wasn't her turn, but she said, I never wanted y'all to throw him away. I never wanted y'all to not bring him around. Quad, I feel like you did at one point because you wanted us to understand what transpired, and I understand what transpired because it is kind of crazy. Everything that have happened in their marriage, the abuse that she talked about, how can y'all still open the arms to Greg but still say fuck you to Quad with the way that she handled things? Do I agree with the way she handled things? No. There are times where Quad can act very selfish and very arrogant, but there was never really a proper conversation to understand how they can move forward once Greg and Quad were never together. I mean, we're not going to be together. So, making this her moment, she did say, once you guys put yourself in my shoes, you can understand the situation and have clarity. Eugene is like, I have clarity that you guys cannot be in the same room at the same time. And I agree with Eugene. And this is the thing. How can we move forward and understand? And how can we pick and choose that Greg can be included, but Quad can't be included? Quad can be included, but then Greg can't be included. All of this is what you guys had already had in mind when y'all wanted to bring them onto the show, because y'all wanted this moment. So how do we move forward? How can we still let the others know they're still a part of this group? Contessa comes in and says, we actually talked to Greg and Sweet Tea. Listening to you, how you're very calm, and she's talking to King, Greg is still mad. And I feel like we need to just remove ourselves from the situation and leave all the negative noise out of our minds and really see what has occurred. Toya says, I'm very happy that Contessa and Scott are back in the group, and we are a forgiving group, that we happy that you trusted us. We can bring you back into the group without any issues. And Damon, he had to get his last 2 cents in with saying he appreciates everybody. He thinks everybody's a good person. It doesn't matter what your titles are. And Steve came in with his opinions about Damon and says that sometimes Damon don't just talk to hear himself talk. He got words. He got wisdom. Okay. Damon comes with clarity sometimes, but then Damon comes with the nutcase sauce whenever his wife says something inappropriate, and he tends to become quiet. and doesn't say anything to correct her because he don't have time to be dealing with this every time. But that was pretty much the end of the episode. They're back in Atlanta, and there's going to be another problem that's going to occur. Whether or not should we still be cool with Sweet Tea and Greg, or should we just move forward with Quad and King? Who knows, right? But this episode was very good. It was very triggering. It was very eye-opening. But y'all, let me know how y'all feel. Please stay tuned for my next video, and I'm going to see you guys later. Bye.